guys. Sorry for the delay on the the weekly update. I was having some audio issues yesterday. Tried the recording a couple times, couldn't get the audio to work. Turned out to be a driver issue on the computer. And yes, I hate technology. So moving on, let's get right back into it. I'll try to remember everything I brought up and where we left off. Fortunately, or unfortunately, whichever you prefer, not much has happened on this Monday, our Bitcoin chart. So we're still, well, sorry, it's the 1 minute. I thought that was a little larger. Nothing going on in the 1 minute. End of report. No. Yeah, so we're still kind of trailing up. We've hit and rejected our weekly level, our weekly level of resistance, and we're still at this weekly band. So really what I'm looking for is a rotation down into this value area low, which is also our 786, though we could obviously front run it. So my next long opportunity here is in this range, right? From it could be anywhere, honestly, from the 05. So I may start layering in here, depending on how it looks when it hits this 05 retracement. But if we do come down into this value area low and hold it as support, that to me is a big trigger. It'd be a larger trade. I'd probably take that one as well. If we hold it as support, then we should rotate after reclaiming the value area low, rotate back to the value area high. Now, we will find likely some resistance in here between the volume point of control and this weekly level of resistance, but I don't expect a full rotation from the volume point of control back to the value area low. It would likely come back into this area. In fact, let me take this out and we'll chart a possible path. So if we come down in here, expecting a climb up at least into the volume point of control, possibly a retest, and then up to the value area high. And that takes us above 70,000, which gets us out of this descending. Let me go into a larger chart, because now we're talking bigger game. Excuse me. That takes us into our descending trend line here, right? So we have this descending, widening, slightly widening channel. It's almost a good size, almost a perfect channel. Discount some of these wicks. Like you could pull this up and you could discount some of those wicks, which carries almost be like a parallel channel. But we are a little bit broadening. So that gets us above our descending. That gets us a new high, right? So now we have higher low, we'd have a higher high here, and breaking a higher high here would be very indicative of market structure shift. I think that would get us out of this sideways range. I know you guys are as done with this range as I am. I wanted to move somewhere else and do something else. I mean, look, have we made money up and down in here? Absolutely. But I have Bitcoin holdings that I want to go somewhere. And where would they go? Well, that's a job for a larger chart. Let me pull up this one. Same ideas, same projections, but let's go out of the daily because that's too small. Let's pull up the weekly chart. So my targets to end this are up here. And I know I've got shorter targets on my other chart. That's a trading chart. But if you're in a buy and hold position, for me, the next target range is about 90,000 to 125, 126. Would I sell everything up in here? No, but this is where I'd be a little more cautious. Possibly look maybe some peaks for take profits. Maybe look for some pullbacks to get for re-entry. And these are minimum, right? So to me, 90,000 that's like minimum, right? 125. That is the top of our danger zone, believe it or not. And this looks better if I put it in a logarithmic chart because it looks so far away on a regular chart. So believe it or not, that is the hop for this bearish crab. So we've had this bearish crab. It's come down. It's hit target one just about. I think it was just a few dollars shy of target one. So depending on where you took your measurements, that was basically target one. Now we've come back up. And the hop which is the harmonic optimal price, which means we're close to invalidation, is up here at 126. So at 126, is it worth taking a stab at a possible short? Yeah, usually it is. So I want to see price not just hit and stall in here, because that could be an indication we're coming back either to target one or even all the way down to target two, which would be an unlikely and uncommon move, but the risk reward would be so high that it's one of those things that'd be worth taking. I want to see it blow past that, because I don't want that uncertainty that uncertainty in the structure. I want to blow that out. So ideally, we don't just hit this zone here, but we blow through it. And that takes us into the upper 100,000 range. So what does that tell me on a longer term chart? Like, not a trading chart. I don't want to try this with leverage. Like, people try this stuff with leverage all the time and they end up stopped out. That's how you get these wicks. They come down and they wipe out people who are overly expectant in leveraged positions. You could use super low leverage and hold on to it for a year or so, but at that point you're paying so much in fees for the leverage, you might as well just buy cash, in my opinion. And I'm not telling you what to do with your money. It's not financial advice. I'm telling you what I do and why I do what I do. But for me, we're in a holding range. So not even just a holding range, this is an accumulation range. Anything in here is a good buy. Anything in here, if we come down, would be a great buy. And anything in here would be a last ditch buy. If um, we break under 31 and we start getting into this box, now you're buying for a shorter term. You're less confident in these highs being taken. Anything above in this blue zone, even in this white zone, which is getting a little scary, even in this white zone, especially the blue zone, we are definitely still targeting at least up into here. So good buys, which still keep accumulating, um, and great buys where just sell what you got later on the house, throw it in, or sell some other assets that are underwhelming and underperforming and shift your money into here. Again, it's not financial advice. It's just what I'm doing with my money on here. Uh, this guy's less important on this time frame than the RSI, but you can see the RSI that we've come down off our highs. We've been trending under that midline, but we haven't really broken the lower band of Bollinger too hard just yet. And it looks ready to expand. We got plenty of room to expand up again. Let's line this up with another chart, and that's our Bitcoin dominance chart, because we do need to talk about some of the alts. And I'm not going to talk about any alts in particular, but I'm going to talk about the alt market in general, because let me zoom in on this. This is our Bitcoin dominance chart, right? The Bitcoin value compared to the other cryptocurrencies in the market. And we've been tracking this up. I had this chart posted, and we hit support in here, and I anticipated another move up into this 57 to 60% range. We are in that range now. We had a nice little spike in here. We need to see if this is going to roll over now or if we get another spike up. And I think, personally, if Bitcoin launches itself into that $100,000 range, we'll see another rotation in this towards this upside. I'd like to see it hit about 60%. Ideally, that would be my top target. But I feel like we could also run, if it decides to go maniac and goes much higher than that, say Bitcoin absolutely blows up, we could go as high as 65% up in here. So this is not a chart I can trade, but it is a chart that gives me some indication on where price may end up going. Again, I'd still like to see it hit 60%, but we are in our major resistance block for Bitcoin dominance. I could see this rolling over, breaking this ascending trend line, which honestly is more of an ascending channel at this point. Let's, right. Well, we're still climbing that midline on this ascending channel, which means at some point it is going to get too heavy and has a higher likelihood of breaking down. So I think we rotate Bitcoin up first for another swipe into the highs. It gets us into one of these two ranges, and then Bitcoin dominance decreases with Bitcoin price leveling off or with it edging down some, at least in terms of the pairs. Total is honestly the same wave count as uh, as Bitcoin itself. I think total market cap, which is all money in all cryptocurrency, it's still lower than it was at its frenzies up in here. Now that we have our ETFs, I could see that rotating again. I think most of this die down is not so much on the Bitcoin chart as it is on the total three. Now this is um, the altcoin minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. Takes Ethereum out. I might revert this to total two because Ethereum has kind of been a dog this season, but that could change as well. And we'll talk about that in just a second. Total three is another one I expect to rotate back up, but it may it may be in here for a little bit longer. It's not as close to its prior high as the total market cap is. Total market cap could blow up with Bitcoin dominance. Then, as it starts to cool off, total three could come in as a late comer and start to um, and start to ramp up, and that would be your altcoin season. We're starting to get um, some indications of that now. You can see some of these starting to really pop. Um, and if it's early now, right? It's still early to decide if altcoin season is here or not, or if this is just another pop. But if you are accumulating, like XTZ, I'd be more cautious because I want to accumulate coins that have held the lows of 2023. Now, yes, XTZ isn't at its all time low. It's not forming another one. So this is kind of one of those toss up coins, but it's not going to be a priority token for me because I want ones that are already hinting at bullish market structure. Something more like VChain, right? VChain has held its 2023 lows and formed a higher low. Now all it's got to do is form a higher high. So take and not necessarily these two coins, find the ones you like Algo looks good, it's still holding its low. AR looks really good. Like because money is going to rotate into the ones like Atom not looking good at all. And I liked Atom. It looks like it's just falling apart. AXS broke its low, right? Bad broke its low. Cody looks good. It's holding its low quite well. CRO looking good. That and if you guys can see it, like that's your 2023, and this is now, and you want to be holding above that low because these are the ones that are going to give you quite likely the most bullish setups. They're going to have more interest. This declining interest in the token, if it can break its 2023 lows in a higher market, that's not a good sign to me for longevity. Even F Classic, which is one of those tokens, like I just don't understand why money's still there. Filecoin looking okay. Gala Bear just barely, and yeah, hopefully you guys can see that pattern. So if you want to get into some altcoins, go ahead. Um, it's not a bad time to get in. A lot of them are still fairly low, but these are all speculative. And I would, Matic, I've got to find the new It's got a new symbol. I got to find that. I honestly haven't kept up with it. But you want to find these higher lows, right? And I'm going to start, I think, pruning my list to take out tokens like Ren and have more tokens like OP. Take out one and have tokens like Rose or like Rune. Like these guys are doing great. Solana, obviously, doing quite well. So you want tokens like that in your portfolio, the ones that are forming higher lows, because the winners are going to keep winning at this point. And these losers, they'll pop, and you might make a lot of money on them, But to me, that rotation is higher risk, and altcoins themselves already pose a substantial amount of risk. So let me move on from crypto and let's get back into the indices, because we need to talk about some of that going on. Let's look at the SPY first. Now the SPY, oof, right? So we've got a high. We're dawdling now. We're just holding on, and the SPY is not giving me a lot of signal. The SPY is doing this, right? We have this kind of island um, that we formed above the high. It's wicking out gaps. We have strange volatility, and I'm not crazy about this movement. Is it a new high? Yes, but it's a weird one, right? And so this is not something I'm trading off of right now. I want the SPY to do something a little more confirmatory for me, and this is not it. So long term, I'm still looking for that turnaround opportunity, and I don't have it because we have it's a higher low and a higher high. So market structure is still bullish, right? It never broke bearish because we never broke a new low, unless you count this. But this is rather small. This is my um, last good low. But you can see the momentum is starting to roll, and that, you know, yeah, we higher high, but now we're starting to form substantially lower highs on the RSI. That momentum is starting to roll over, and it may cool off sideways, like Bitcoin has done, kind of channeling out and then come up. Uh, we have our harmonic optimal price for our bearish crab, which we have a bearish crab on this chart as well. Um, so if we want to remain optimistically bullish, I want to see it break over this $618 level. Because if we don't definitively break over this level, this pattern remains in play. And I feel like we could come back, especially when we start hitting some of these time zones. In October, let's see, our next big one in October is the 23rd of October. So we start hitting these time zones and we could start to roll. Um, we have the Qs as well, and the Qs are giving a much better looking chart to play with because now we have this possible. It's again, it's not formed, but we have a possible forming of a bearish butterfly, which to me makes sense. Like I think we broke this midline here the other day, just barely. Yeah, we broke above the B point, and we came back in. We gap filled here, and we found it as support. I think we come back up, gap fill this. It may trail a little bit, but maybe a good spike on the Qs to get back, catch up to where the SPY is. Hit this level here at 525, and that completes a bearish butterfly, which also helps to complete this pattern. We come back, get a good correction into this zone between 409 and 350, and that would be possibly the end of our correction and then roll back up. Uh, that'd be a fantastic buying opportunity. That'd be great market structure if that held. I think the Qs look a a little more indicative than the SPY does at the moment. The Dow Jones has joined its brethren in hitting its 1.618 level in our 1.618 zone. That makes its bearish crab pattern also valid. So now all of the three larger major indices have formed the exact same harmonic pattern. Um, does it mean it has to roll over? No, not necessarily. And this one hasn't confirmed yet because we still need a couple of bearish weekly candles, at least one good bearish weekly candle. But I like to see three. And we had that in the other two indices with that down spike. We haven't had it in the Dow Jones yet. We have possible formation off these two lows to this high between where we're at, which is 42,000 to 42,500, forming a D point for a bullish shark. That bullish shark would take us down into our support box. And then, if this is all just high end future speculating for what I'm tracking, say we turn around up here, we validate our pattern, we hit support, we validate our shark pattern, we come back up about halfway, maybe the 5 retracement, wherever that might be, hitting this resistance, and then we get an equal, right, 100% down leg for an ABC pattern, AB equals CD pattern into our target range for our bearish crab. Now, this is market structure I would like to see. This would make a lot of sense. And then from there, we can possibly count and start trying to form out some bullish patterns. We might have one here, like A, B, C, X, A, B, C, D, and then use that to lift ourselves out of this range and continue our upward trending market. High end speculation at this point, but it's structure that I like to see. I like to see consistent and predictable structure. If it doesn't showing me good structure, then I'm not going to dive into it. Man, look at Nat Gas go, right? Missed my ideal zone, but if you were buying, and this is the Pepperstone chart, and the hint from the Pepperstone chart, right, was when futures jumped. They jumped really high, almost broke this neckline in a day. And the Pepperstone chart, oh, I killed it. But our Pepperstone chart did not jump. It just trickled up. So I go back to where it was. No, that's also futures. But yeah, we are forming that up into our target. You can see like that was a trade I had up and came down back in. That's accumulation. Man. Yeah. Got ranges up in here. Maybe 6-7 on that chart. Natural gas futures. We're probably looking about 500 or so on this chart. Yeah, I mean, I think it's time for nat gas to rotate up. So this is a little bonus. If you guys want more ideas, we got plenty more stocks and all. I'm itching to get into the stocks because, man, I love the stock market. But that'll be in the members videos. If you guys aren't in the members yet, come try it out. We got links below in the description to come and see me and a lot of the other coaches, better coaches than myself, better traders than myself. It's a huge community. It's a great community. Come try it out. Anyway, I'll catch you guys next week. Again, sorry this one was late, but I had no sound before and it just been a very silent video. So apologize for the delay, but now we're back on track. Catch you guys later. Bye.